Greetings everyone. Thank you for joining me for the playthrough of the Cult of the Crow. And we've got Jed back. He is level 5 now. I've been playing some pretty long sessions with him off camera, trying to get him leveled up and powered up and ready to go. And a lot of things have changed with him. He's got a few perks now. He's got the Thrill Seeker perk, he has the Brawler perk, and I've definitely beefed up his magic resistance. He's also got a ring that's giving him a bonus there. And I have a lot more masteries now. I have the Uppercut mastery. I think Sweeping Blow I had in the last video, but Precision Strike also a new one there. Both of these are really cool. I've got a few more items here. I found a really nice relic. It's the Diadem of Etheric Power, so that's a nice relic there. That's going to give you plus 10 max ether, and all spells that deal damage deal an extra d6 damage, which right now I don't really have a spell that it'll work with, but when I get to level 6 I'm going to take the next Stormbrand spell, so it'll work with that. And I got a few items here. I have a lot of fragments right now, so some of those might come in handy if we get into a tough fight. Got a couple magic items that I have not identified. Been stocking up on all my supplies, and generally just trying to get ready for the Bleak Threshold, which is really what this is all about. Today going through the Cult of the Crow is kind of just a little tune-up, little warm-up before we head into the Bleak Threshold. And I've been warned by Alex. The Bleak Threshold is very bad, and I think it's likely that Jed is going to die in there, and I'm prepared for that, but we'll see what happens. But for today with the Cult of the Crow, I'm feeling really good. I think that Jed is going to do quite well, and he really is quite powerful, so I'm just going to go out on a limb and say he's not going to have any problem. Maybe the Overseer will be a little tough, the Saint of Crows, but beyond that I don't think it's going to be that bad. Maybe famous last words, tempting fate here. You never know what the Necropolis is going to throw at you, but yeah, I feel like it's going to go pretty well. So what is the Cult of the Crow? So this is a kind of a little mini adventure module that is in the first codex, the first Valorian codex. So if you would like to play it, you can find it there. And the Cult of the Crow, got a nice little picture here showing the I think these are going to be some crow cultists here. Very cool artwork. Got a big rock egg there. So this is a vicious cult that inhabits Ker Nethalas, and the Cult of the Crow worships Kalatha, the old Valorian goddess of death, decay, and corpses. They find petrified rock eggs, using their dark magic to warp and manipulate those eggs as objects of worship, causing strange mutated carrion beasts to erupt and pillage through Ker Nethalas and the surface world. So they're sending these mutated rocks up to the surface as well. That's kind of an interesting reference there to the surface, but this domain can represent any stronghold of the Cult of the Crow throughout Ker Nethalas, so they may have multiple ones. And it's talking about some details here about the map is already generated for us, but we will need to use the exploration rules in chapter 4, so we'll still be rolling for there's still going to be some like locked doors and random encounters and things like that, but there are also going to be some fixed encounters. And we have a different combat encounter table that we're going to be using in here. which you can see here. So you have 3 enemies that you'll encounter in the random combat: the Crow Cultist, the Rock Skeleton, and the Corvine Knights. And we still need to do tension die checks, but we do not need to do the exit check because the map already has it for us. And we're going to be kind of following along with this sort of a process, or sort of a script here for this adventure module. So let's get into it, and of course eventually we're going to be fighting the Saint of Crows. Very cool. Definitely looking forward to fighting him. Alright, so let's get into it. So we're here at the entryway, and we are going to do a tension die check for this corridor here. And we have rolled a 6. Alright, so the tension die is going to stay the same, and we're going to roll for an encounter here. And that is a 6, which is going to be an event. We did not get a combat there. So I will draw an event card. I have all the cards laid out to my right here. And it says, a section of one of the walls in this room seems to be made of moving pieces. Each piece has a different diagram, and you could swear they form a pattern, but they're not correctly placed. Make a reason check if you manage to solve the puzzle, revealing a small section of the wall that contains 2 D100 coins. Well, that would be nice. I believe my reason skill is very, very low. Yeah, just 10. So right off the bat, we're going to be trying to make a tough skill check here. And 48, so we did not get that. But thankfully there's no negative effect to this, so we just are going to miss out on a little bit of spoils there. A little bit of coins. No problem. Okay, so let's go into the first room here. I think I'm basically just going to follow 1, 2, 3, 4 through the rooms. And we have a door here. So we're going to need to roll for our door, and I also just add the roll for the lock in there as well. And it kind of got in the corner there. Okay, so we got a 5. The door is not locked, so we don't need to worry about a trap there. Alright, so we're entering the first room here, which is called the debris and shit room. And the first room of this domain is a dirty, excrement-laden room. And here the Cult of the Crow has tossed various items they've scavenged from other domains in the region. There's rotted fabric, meat, scrap metal, bones, shards of shiny rocks, and more, all littered through the room. So this seems to be a place where, when the cultists are going out and pillaging and looting, they're bringing back some of their spoils. So this room contains 1 bandage, 2 uses of lamp oil, and you can also roll on the spoils table once to see what else you find. Alright, but first we need to go ahead and roll a tension check here. So that's a 1. We're going to go down to D6. And we also need to roll for an encounter here. And a 5, so we're going to have another event card. And the room seems to be the remains of a tomb robber's camp. Well, yeah, that's right. And so we can make a perception check, and if you pass it, you're going to find D4 torches and D10 crafting supplies. So my perception skill is not too bad, so we might have a chance here of passing this with a perception of 43. 38, alright. So we are going to get D4 torches and D10 crafting supplies. So let's grab a D4 and a D10. So we will get 3 torches and we'll get 9 crafting supplies. That's a good roll right there. So let's add those to our inventory. It's going to bring us up to 59 crafting supplies. And speaking of torches, I need to mark off 1 for the corridor and 1 for the room. And it's going to bring us to 5 torches. And we can also take a bandage and 2 lamp oil, so I'll gladly take those. So that will be 7 bandages and going to go up to 12 lamp oil. And I'm always happy to have lamp oil because I'm always using my belt lamp, obviously, because I'm always dual wielding, so always good to have that. And we can also roll on the spoils table. In this case, I'm just going to be taking a spoils card, so there's only 6 spoils cards, so just mix these up a little bit and grab one, and we can draw a valuable item card. We can draw a random potion card. Okay. Gonna add that to the stack of potions, and I cannot see it right now. I have 2, so it's gonna be 3 potions that I have right now. And I believe we can do a scavenging check in this room as well. 57. Not gonna get anything there. Okay, so that is the first room. I'm gonna go ahead and circle that to indicate that we have completed the room, and we'll go back out into the corridor. Tension die will stay the same, and then we'll go into room number 2. Let's roll for our door. 3 and 2. Okay, so the door is open. And we're going to walk into room number 2, which is called the Sacrificial Saints. So this room is a worship room featuring a long table stained with dried blood. Wicked ritual daggers reminiscent of talons from a bird of prey lay on the table, their edges shining sharp even in the dark. So here we can find D3 daggers. We can find 2 fragments, so I'm going to get even more fragments. And there are crow cultists in this room, and there's also 1 random combat encounter, so we have to have a random combat encounter here. Okay, so let's roll for our random combat encounter and see who we're going to be facing here. 12, so we're going to be facing a rock skeleton here. So there's the rock skeleton. And the rock skeleton is an undead. There's going to be 1 of them, and he's got pretty low awareness of 10. High health though of 10. He's undead, horrifying, and swift. So horrifying, that's going to be pretty tough to deal with there. He's got 40 combat, 40 magic resistance, and 1 armor on his whole body there. So a pretty tough enemy. So let's go ahead and do our perception roll. So we have rolled a 15, and the rock skeleton has rolled a 53. So his awareness is only 10. So we have succeeded there. But because he is horrifying, before we start our attack, we need to make a resolve check, and resolve is also a skill that I have put some points into on level up, because I think that's going to be really important, especially in the Bleak Threshold. So 40 is not really great, but it's decent. Now let's see if we can pass this resolve check here, and we got a 1, so that's all good, no problem there. We're not going to take the sanity loss, and we're going to roll for combat here, and I have a lot of different attacks to choose from, so I have to decide which one I want to do here. I think I'm going to go with the uppercut, and what that's going to allow me to do is launch a brutal uppercut against your opponent, dealing 2d10 bludgeoning damage, but your next defensive check will receive -20. Okay, looks like we have succeeded there, because he was over on his combat check there, and we have rolled a 1, and we got an 8 on the hit location, so it's not going to be the head. So we've hit the enemy there, and we're going to be doing the uppercut. So we're going to have 1d6 and 2d4 for our standard attack, and then we're also going to have 2d10 for the uppercut. So there's some, as you can see, there's some nice damage potential here. And we also have our damage modifier as well. So, okay, we got a 7. 7 is going to be converted, that's going to be a 2. And our lowest roll is a 2, so we add our modifier, that's going to be a 5. So that's going to be 2 as well. So we have 4 damage, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to be dealing 7 damage here. And he does have an armor of 1 and a base health of 10. So that's going to bring his health down to 4. And I also realized that I forgot to draw an Overseer Influence card for our Saint of Crows, so I need to do that now, because that's probably going to affect our combat here. I will go ahead and shuffle these up a little bit, and then draw an Overseer Influence. So we got the Mage Bane. They have +10 magic resistance. And I'd say we got pretty lucky there, because I really not going to be using magic attacks, so that's not too bad at all. So I'll put that aside and remember that. Let's write down what our influence is here. Mage Bane +10 MR. Okay. Okay, so our first attack went off pretty well, and we were able to do 7 damage converted, but he was able to block 1 with the armor, and so he's going to go from 10 health down to 4. And now it is going to be the Rock Skeleton's turn. Let's see what attack he'll do. And that is a 2. That's going to be the Bony Talons. The Rock Skeleton claws and rips with its skeletal wings, making an attack against the target that deals 2d6 slashing damage. Okay, so let's see if we can avoid this damage here. So he has rolled a 79 for his attack, and his combat skill is going to be 50 with the attacker bonus. So he is over, so he has missed. And we've made a successful defense at 38. So not too bad right there. but also we did have a minus 20 penalty to defense, so our roll was actually an 18, but again he missed, so no big deal. And now we need to go ahead and make a resolve check for the horrifying, and 93. Okay, so we did not pass that check there, so we're going to take 2 points of sanity loss. And I'm already down 2 points, so that's going to put me at 11. And I would say that even though Jed is pretty strong, sanity loss is certainly a possible weak point for him. And I'm really that's one of the things I'm the most concerned about when we get to the Bleak Threshold is madness events. But I do have this ring that allows me to ignore the effects of a single madness affliction, so that's really, really nice. That's almost like one get out of jail free card there. Okay, so now we can roll for our attack here, and I'm going to decide what attack I'm going to use. And I think in this case I am going to go for the precision strike, and that's basically going to allow me to increase my attack skill by 30. And what that'll do is I can target the head, and I'm not going to take any penalties, so we can just have a normal attack roll and still target the head, so that'll give me a critical hit. And because I have the precision striker goal right now, I'm trying to rack up those critical hits. So let's see how that goes. Alright, 62, and he rolled 63. So that's well within our attack skill, which right now would be 80, 90, 100 with the knuckles. Or if we were using the claw, we would still have 90 attack skill, so we're fine there. And again, we don't take any penalty from targeting the head, so that is going to be a critical hit to the head. So that's going to mean instead of 1d6, 2d4, we're going to be rolling 2d6 and 4d4 damage. Okay, so that's going to be 2 damage there, 4 damage, 5 damage, then we add our modifier, 6 damage. So that's going to be a total of 6 damage converted, and with his 1 armor, he's going to take 5 damage. He has HP of 4, and so he is now been defeated. So we have defeated our first enemy inside of the crow's domain, and we're going to be able to roll on the spoils deck here. And you're also going to get 50 experience. And I forgot when I entered the crow's domain here to add 50 for entering the domain. So we're going to go ahead and add 100 experience here. We'll go up to 330. So he is rock skeleton is gone, and we roll on spoils. And we can draw a valuable item card. Magic item, okay. And I currently have 2 magic items already, so that's going to bring me to 3 magic items that I have not identified. Probably after we complete the crow's domain, we will camp somewhere before going into the Bleak Threshold, and then we'll go ahead and identify all those items. So I have 6 attunement crystals right now. So that'll be kind of fun to identify those. Maybe we'll get something that will help us a lot as we go into the Bleak Threshold. And, oh, there are also crow cultists in this room, so we need to fight those as well. And actually, I'm not sure if we were supposed to fight those guys all at once, one big brawl. So I may have played that wrong. If anybody knows, let me know if I was supposed to fight them all at once. But anyway, we'll go ahead and fight the crow cultists. So there's going to be 2 crow cultists here, and these are humanoid. They've got 40 awareness. They have 4 health each. They have 30 combat skill and 60 magic resistance, but it's also going to be 70 with our Mage Bane influence. And they have 1 armor on all body parts. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our initiative roll here. And 21, so we are under our skill. For initiative, we get a +10 bonus, so that would give us 53. We're under our skill there with 21, and they rolled a 70, so they're over their awareness of 40, so we will go first. And this is also going to be a great opportunity here to use the sweeping blow skill. So this is going to allow me to strike all enemies in melee range. So we're going to be using sweeping blow, and let's add the hit location in there. Okay, so we've rolled 40 and they have rolled 13. Our roll will win, and 10 we're not going to get a hit, they're not going to get a hit to the head. So now we're simply going to roll 1d6 and 2d4. And wow, very low roll there. So we've got 1 damage here, and then we add our 3 damage modifier. So that's going to be 2 damage. So that'll be 2 damage to both of the cultists. They also have 1 armor, so it's going to be 1 damage to each cultist. So each cultist is at 6 or is at 3 health. So it's going to bring them to a total of 6 health. So we'll note that there. Not a great roll there, but I'm not too worried. Okay, so now both cultists are going to roll, and it's a 1 and a 4. Okay, let's take the 1 first. 1 is the Dark Dagger. This is a physical attack. The crow cultist slashes at its target with a sinister dagger, dealing d6 plus 1 piercing damage. And then the other one, we'll look at that one in a minute. Okay, so let's do a physical combat check. 63, so their combat skill right now is 40, and they are over their skill, so they're going to miss. And then we'll look at the 4. That's going to be the Swarm of Crows magical ability. The crow cultist summons a swarm of phantasmal crows to harass and distract its enemies. All creatures in the area must succeed on a dodge check or take d6 necrotic damage and be blinded until the end of their next turn. Well, that's pretty nasty. So this was a magical attack, and I currently have a magical defense of 60 on account of leveling that up a few times, and then I have a ring that has +10. So 57, we just got under it. Great. Glad we avoided that attack. That's pretty nasty. Alright, so now we're going to do our combat roll here, and once again I'm going to go for the sweeping blow. And 66. They have a 96, so they failed in their defense. And 66 is going to give us a critical hit. That's great. So I'll go ahead and mark another critical hit there. And that's going to let us roll 2d6 and 4d4. Alright, much better roll this time. So this is going to be 2 damage, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we add our modifier to this, makes it 6, 7, 8. So that's going to be 8 damage to both Crow Cultists, but they have 1 armor again. So that's going to be 7, and that would be basically 3.5 damage to each one. Or no, sorry, that's 7 damage to each one. Yeah, that's how it works. So 7 damage to each one. Right now, each one individually has a health of 3, total of 6. So they have been defeated. And as you can see, Jed is pretty powerful. I think the rock skeleton was a little bit more scary, but we've had some pretty good rolls here too. And now we're going to roll on the spoils deck and add 50 experience. So yeah, Jed is making fairly short work of these guys. But what I don't know is if I was supposed to fight all of them at once. That certainly would have made it a little more crazy. So that's kind of the big question there. Okay, so we finally have completed all the combat there, and we can get 2 fragments. So let's go ahead and draw a couple of fragment cards. We're going to get a rusted chain. That, when wrapped around you, grants your mind strength and resolve, plus 10 temporary sanity. Whoa, now that's very nice. That's going to come in handy in the Bleak Threshold. And we also get a heart-shaped amulet. When crushed, it's a free action. It allows you to absorb damage meant for an ally. But the amulet crumbles to dust, leaving you unable to feel empathy for a week. Alright, well, I don't have any allies, and I probably won't have any for a while, so I don't know if I can maybe sell that to a trader. But this one is really nice, this rusted chain. So we will hold on to those, put them in my little pile here. And we also get D3 daggers, so let's see. D3. I don't have a D3, so I think we'll just say that I found 1 dagger. We'll just do that. So we'll add a dagger to our backpack here. And again, that's something that we can probably sell later on. And we can do a scavenging check here. 87, nothing there. And I believe that is going to be all for that room. That's room number 2, the Sacrificial Saints. So we have cleared out room number 2. And we're going to move back into the corridor here. And we're going to have to do a tension die check there. 4. So next is going to be room number 3. Room number 3 is the Chapel of Crows. I will end it here for today. And next time we will start with the 3rd room, the Chapel of Crows. So thank you all for joining me today. The return of Jed. And yeah, Jed is kicking some ass and taking names. So I hope you will join me next time as we work our way through the Cult of Crows and eventually face the Saint of Crows, which I am looking forward to that fight. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And probably will be the biggest challenge for Jed here. Okay, we'll see you next time.